All right, welcome in. Thanks for coming tonight. You're here for Big Conversations with Little Children. Looking forward to it. We're going to give people a minute to pop in, and I'll do some quick housekeeping
Yeah, good.
while we
Your
wait.
program. Is she with your program?
So, first we will have interpretation. Are any of our interpreters here tonight? Can you come off mute and let me know if you're here yet?
Yes, I'm here. This is Hilda.
Okay, we have Spanish as Vietnamese here yet? Okay. We should be having Vietnamese here soon, but I'll go ahead and set up our Spanish channel and circle back on that. If you are here for Spanish interpretation, what you'll need to do is hit that interpretation globe. Then you will select the Spanish option once we open that channel. If you're on your phone, you're going to hit the three dots or three ellipses. You'll hit interpretation and then you will select Spanish. Gilda, you want to introduce that in Spanish for us, please?
Yes, para las personas que necesiten interpretación al español, por favor, en unos minutos ustedes van a observar que hay el icono de un globo terrestre en la parte inferior derecha de su pantalla. Hagan un clic ahí y por favor elijan español como idioma de preferencia. Si están en su teléfono, son tres puntitos que están en la parte superior derecha de la pantalla del teléfono. Hacer un clic ahí y elegir español como, perdón, primero interpretación y después español como idioma de preferencia. Y por si me pueden mandar un texto dejándome saber que necesitan la interpretación. And are you going to have comments or questions at the one?
Yeah, so once you get the game started, if you're here in the Spanish channel, you are welcome to comment, and we'll let you back into the main room if you want to just do some side-by-side interpretation.
The only reason that I was asking that is we can just keep interpreting simultaneously, but just English speakers, make sure that you press also the button for interpretation and you choose English. So that way you will hear any comments or any questions in English. So you don't need to take me out of the
I got that muted. Yeah. So yeah, just make sure that you are in that English channel if you want to hear in English, not that Spanish channel. And if you need any support, you're always welcome to come off of mute. But we're gonna go ahead and start our Spanish channel. Hilda.
I believe our Vietnamese interpreter may be signing in, so
Okay.
let's
We'll
just
just
make
wait a
sure
minute to
that
get that set up.
they are aware of this as well.
I think we might have lost Gilda too. So
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
I'm here,
Spanish
but I
interpreter.
need to
Change your name. Okay.
Yeah, your name is now Spanish interpreter.
Got it.
So
All right, then that Spanish channel is open. Do we have Vietnamese interpretation yet? You can come off mute and let us know.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So I introduced the channel. So how we do that is just let families know if you need Vietnamese interpretation as well, you'll click on the interpretation globe and hit Vietnamese. If you're on your phone, you hit the three dots, then you hit interpretation, and then you can select Vietnamese. So if you can introduce that in Vietnamese for us, that would be great.
Thì tất cả những cái gia đình người Việt á, là trên này á, nếu như mà muốn nghe bằng tiếng Việt á, thì bấm vào cái nút là nói nghe tiếng Việt, và nếu như mà ở trên điện thoại á, thì sẽ bấm cái nút mà có 3 chấm á, xong rồi mình chọn tiếng Việt.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So both language channels are now open. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So let me share my screen. We have interactive features that are open tonight. As always, when we are working together, there will be a game, and that's how we will be learning here soon. You are welcome to come off of mute and share. And you are also welcome to type in the chat. You can send reactions. If you have a question, you want to raise your hand, we'll be looking out for that. But in silent moments, you are also always more than welcome to come off mute just to ask those questions as well. There's no problems at all. So one other housekeeping thing we're going to do quickly is another function, which is names. We have a lot of Jasmine Rigby's coming in tonight, which I'm not sure why that is. So first thing we're going to ask you to do is to try to change your name. Make sure that if you yours says Jasmine Rigby, that you get it changed to your actual name. So how you'll do that is go to your icon box. That's where your face is or your name is. You'll hit the three dots, and then you're going to scroll down to rename. When you hit rename, it should give you the option to change it from Jasmine Rigby to your actual name. That'll be helpful for us to know. Who's here? We will be assigning groups or teams for the game, so it'll be very helpful. If you need support with that, you can type in the chat. We were able to change your name for you. So we can take a moment. If anybody needs support with that, just let us know here. All right, cool. We'll keep moving forward. Again, if you need support, just let us know. And while we're in this space, we are going to be interacting tonight. So make sure you lean into uncomfortable questions, conversations. We're here to learn and grow, especially around difficult conversations. There will be no wrong answers. We'll just be working together to try to find the best way to communicate when we're having difficult conversations. That's the goal of the night. Make sure you have compassion for yourself and for others. Respect the lived experience and culture of others in this space, and withhold any personally identifiable information like birthdays, addresses, and stuff like that. Mark, there is a note to change the name in the chat for Anne when you have a moment.
I got that.
Cool. I'm going to do a quick introduction just to let you know what this book's about, what we're learning tonight. It starts with a great quote. Children are the priority, change is the reality, and collaboration is the strategy, which is what inspired us to take this book and make it a collaborative way to work together to kind of learn this content and share it out. It is a rather large book, so to be able to get some information out without having to read the whole thing, I thought might be helpful for families and for staff that are here to learn with us tonight. So a little bit about this book, Big Conversations with Little Children. Oh, my page isn't turning. So it's all about addressing children's worries, concerns, and fears. It really does a great job emphasizing the close relationship between school and home. Teachers work with your students all day long, and then from there, families, you have them all evening, all night, on the weekends, on those holidays. So there's a lot of communication that needs to be happening, especially when there's concerns that are happening or situations where kids might need a little bit of that additional support. So how do we build that bridge to be having those relationships? It's to educate and support the emotional needs of our students while respecting families' wishes on how to discuss topics with their child. There are three parts within this book. First is preparing for difficult conversations. There's conversation topics, and there's take-home pages that full of resources for families. Each topic itself has 6 parts to it. So when you flip to a topic, it'll give you an overview of what this topic is about. Let's say the topic is discussing a divorce happening at home. So what to talk with the family about, maybe some questions to ask. What to talk with the child about, how to start that conversation, how to follow up. If you're a teacher hearing that from the student, how to follow up with the family. If you're the family sharing it with the teacher, what follow-up you might want. And then take-home pages. What you see on these take-home pages are resources on how to make this grade level specific. What conversations and the way you handle them aren't going to look the same from primary to secondary. So how do we adjust it? It'll have resources like additional reading that you can do. It might have resources like cartoons that you can watch or videos you can watch to learn more, or worksheets that you can do as well. And so websites also. Why are we talking about big conversations with little children? It's to build and nurture trust. When you are able to handle these conversations and feel more confident in what you say and the way that you're responding to this, it really builds trust to be able to have these conversations. We want to acknowledge similarities and differences in emotions from child to child across cultures, and we want to acknowledge and respect the beliefs of the adult and children that make up our diverse DPS families. This is to build two-way communication with families from schools to home and home to schools, right? What's being communicated should be across the board the same, and it should be based on how families want to communicate about it, right? So we're encouraging teachers to ask those questions to know how to approach these topics with children, and we're encouraging families to feel open to share this so that there can be mutual conversations happening. Guide and empower with confidence and developmental appropriateness, right? When we're having these difficult conversations. Like I said earlier, it's not going to look the same from primary to secondary, so we want to make sure that we're taking that into account. The more we encourage families and students to share, the more families and students care. If you are a staff member listening in on this, we want them to feel like a safe space. We want our schools to be a welcoming community. Being able to have these difficult conversations and respect the voices of our families is always the first goal. All right. So this is a community of practice. It's not a community of perfection. As we're working through this game as a team, I want you to keep that concept in mind. This is a safe place to have real conversations. This is a place to reflect on your own emotions around these topics, why some feel more difficult than others, and how we can solve that. Become more grounded and confident in supporting the way that you care for your family. I'm sure the responses you have now are great, but you're here to hear some more options, and that's what we're here to give you. So the structure of the book, if as you're going through and reading, there's a part 1 is preparing for those difficult conversations. So it addresses how to cultivate understanding and partnership in the adults that are involved, whether you're a school staff getting a family involved over something that you heard the child talking about, or if you're the family wondering how this might cross over into school and how to start the conversation. It's going to have some icebreakers to break down that communication. And then part 2 is all just a vast variety of conversation topics. So you can get really specific on these potentially difficult conversation subjects that you might be having, and how to go about sparking the conversation. So just a quick walkthrough as well. There's in part 1, there's going to be general family check-in questions. There's going to be conversation starters, just some basic rules of thumbs around having these conversations, A's and B's, and child's developmental level considerations, and communicating with parents and other family considerations. Here's a list of the categories that you'll see when you get into part 2. The first one is family issues, such as unemployment, substance abuse, separation, military, and incarceration. 2 is family issues. There might be an adult illness at home, medical conditions, deaths and miscarriages. Social issues, race and culture, hunger and food, physical and cognitive differences, family structure, sexuality and gender, and then upheaval and violence, those natural disasters, social upheaval, and even gun violence. So the way we're going to go about learning about this, is Student Support Showdown. So the Spanish interpretation is requesting to give instructions, so we're going to take a quick pause so that she can do that before we get started. Make sure everybody is hearing with us. Okay, so I'm going to close. I'm just going to go ahead and close. Okay, so you should be in the main room now, Spanish interpretation.
Yes, what happened is that I overheard that there were some people that couldn't get into the Spanish. The microphone was on and they were talking about it. So let me see if I can get everybody into that room. Cualquier persona que se haya unido a esta reunión y que necesite interpretación, necesitan ir, en unos minutos van a ver el icono de un globo terrestre, tienen que hacer un clic ahí y elegir español como el idioma de preferencia. Si están en su teléfono, son 3 puntitos que están en la parte superior, hacer un clic ahí y después elegir interpretación y después elegir español. Así que, y si por favor puede todo el mundo apagar sus micrófonos, porque hay alguna persona que en este momento está hablando y se escucha, así que apaguen sus micrófonos. And I'm sorry, also for the English speakers, if everybody can turn your mics off, because there was somebody talking and was interrupting the interpretation. So if everybody can turn off your mics, that will help me a lot. Thank you so much. And you can send me back to the room.
All right. Okay, so Spanish and Vietnamese interpretation are open again. We'll go ahead and get started then with our showdown. So what we're looking at for the Student Support Showdown, we are going to be playing it similar to Jeopardy, where we will put you into groups. So our teams, you're going to see some categories of conversations: preparing for conversations, family issues, illness and death, a heavy one, and then social issues and violence, another one. These questions are ranked from easiest, that's our 100, to medium level difficulty, that's our 200, and then difficult ones, we're going to ask you to give more open-ended answers, so a broader answer versus choosing A, B, and C. There's really no wrong answers here. We're all here to learn a little bit more about this. And these are suggestions. They are not exactly how you need to do it every time. And so you can learn a little bit without having to read the book in its entirety. We will have prizes for our winning team. So you guys will be welcome to come off of mute and just share or type in the chat to support your team. Hopefully we can come to a group consensus on an answer, or we will just go with majority rules as we group you into your teams. So Mark is feverishly going through and assigning you teams. I think what we will do to start is just a practice view, just to whole group. So you're welcome to type in the chat. I'll give you an example of a simple, I'll give you an example of a difficult one, and then by then we should have our teams ready and you'll start earning points. So I'm going to start with our blank one, which should be preparing for conversations for 100. So to start, which of these phrases is not a rule of thumb for difficult conversations? A, you should always pause. B, you should use open-ended questions, which are the opposite of yes or no, is questions where people can describe an answer. C, don't ask and don't tell. Or D, be aware of your nonverbal communication. Which one sounds like that's probably not a very good rule when you're trying to have a difficult conversation? All right. I see a lot of C's, and that is correct. It is don't ask, don't tell. You cannot ask questions if you're not going to bring it up. So the biggest part about difficult conversations is being brave enough to get that conversation started. So that's what we mean when we say that. All right, going back to our main screen, back to Word. All right, so we'll do one more practice before we move forward. Let's try a trickier one. Maybe we'll do preparing for conversations 300. So with any conversation related to family dynamics, social issues, or world events, there are other familial preferences to remain aware of and consider carefully when you're speaking with a young child. What are some potential considerations that we want to take when having conversations related to family dynamics or world events? What might be a preference a family has? Culture, awesome, thank you, Reiko. Religion, spirituality, that's a good one. Any other suggestions? There's a lot of them. Politics, yes. Yeah, is it developmentally appropriate? Is it gender specific? Do we need to take that into account? Medical needs, maybe like neurodivergent needs. All right. These are great suggestions. You guys are definitely on the right track. So we got a couple of them. Religious context, vocabulary, making sure we're not using those high-level crazy academic words that teachers can sometimes use. We want to like be on the level of where we're at so we can understand one another. Time frame, how long ago did this incident occur? And we need to know those facts if this is an appropriate time to be having the conversation. The age of the child, so developmental levels, culture, language, politics. So we actually got quite a few. Nice work on that. So this sounds like it's gonna be easy peasy for you guys. All right. So we almost have everybody into a team. We'll do one more practice. We'll do that middle level, and then I'll let you guys answer the next 9 in your teams. So last practice one. I will finish preparing for conversations. So finish one of the rules of thumb below. Follow the blank desired approach, or expect the blank, or talk to families blank. Some of these are kind of pretty common sentences that we use already. I'll read them again. What are one of these sentences? What's the rule of thumb below you can finish? Follow the blank desired approach, expect the blank, or talk to families blank. Families first. Talk to families first. Loving. Expect the unexpected. Okay. Let's see how we did. Follow the families approach. Teachers, it is not our job to push on families what we do at home or what we do at school. And when it comes to hard conversations and hard topics, it is the families first. Talk to families first. Find out the family's approach and how you're going to talk to their child about this issue that's happening within their family. Expect the unexpected. I think about this in the sense of don't expect the worst. I think oftentimes building two-way communication can feel scary. Trusting the school can feel scary as a family, and also families, it can feel like you're going to be shut down. We want to assume best intent, and expecting the unexpected and being open to having these conversations is a great place to start. Valued and rulers. Awesome. Thank you all for participating. So now that we have some teams set up, you should see next to your name a 1, 2, or 3. So that's going to assign you your team. That's how we're going to earn those points. You're welcome to come off mute or post in the chat for your team. We'll go with like majority answers. Some of them will be a little more open-ended. We'll take multiple answers, and if one of them is correct, you'll be earning those points. So we'll let team 1 launch us off. Remember, we have done our preparing for conversations. So we have family issues, illness and death, and social issues, whatever point level. Where do we guys want to start? Demiki has a question. What do we do when the family isn't talked to first? We should revisit that. Absolutely. I think bring that up to your school. Make sure that you're talking to them about how you want to be talked to first. And if there's a recurring issue, Family Constituency Services is always around to mediate, to come in and support you with making sure that you are being talked to first. So I'll make sure I get that phone number in the chat for you. I'm going to select somebody from team 1 to let us know what category we want to at least launch us off. So I see social issues and violence coming up. How many points? 300? Let's go. Okay. So group 1, I see social issues and violence for 300. So we're going to ask you to answer how you might address a situation like this. I like being a boy and I like playing with trucks. In 1 to 2 sentences, how can you affirm this child without affirming the gender stereotype? Give us your ideas if you have a 1 next to your name. We want to let them know that's a A-okay thing to say, but we don't want to make them feel like they can only play with trucks, right? We want to let them know that there's a variety of options and we're not making them make that choice. We're proud of them making that choice. What do you think you would say? I'm glad we still love you. I like that. Reiko, you are a 2. It's Reiko J-2, so you'll be team 2. It's great you feel that way and you enjoy trucks. Lovely. Look at team 1 going strong. Any other ideas, team 1, on what you might say? Okay. Ask a question. Okay. What kind of question would you ask? Why are trucks your favorite? Oh, cool. Getting a conversation started about it. That's awesome, friend. Both boys and girls can like trucks. I'm a girl and I like trucks too. Awesome. I'm gonna let team one take this because all of those were great suggestions. I just have one suggestion here that's broad, but all of your answers are a great way to handle that conversation. I like that you like being a boy and playing with trucks. You can play with any toys you want, and we still like you exactly the way you are. Educators have a responsibility to uphold and value the self-esteem for all students in their care, and the goal is to help children understand and appreciate the similarities and differences between people. That's what we're getting at with this conversation. So that's 300 points for team one. And I'm so far away from my whiteboard. Give me a second to bring it closer. 300 team one. So that's way to go, team one. Great start. We're gonna move to team two and let you guys get a chance at some points here. So team two, let us know. We still have family issues, illness and death, all categories. And we have social issues and violence, 100 or 200. Somebody put in the chat what you want. We'll go with the first one. Team two. Illness and death, 300 from Anne. Thank you, Anne. So when it comes to talking with your child, the overarching goal is to blank their questions and feelings. What do you think is missing? What word might fit here? I'll read it one more time. When it comes to talking with your child, the overarching goal is to blank their questions and feelings. Recognize, acknowledge, validate. Okay, very strong. Okay, let's see what we got. Acknowledge their questions and feelings and answer with truthful reassurance. So, absolutely, yes, we have acknowledged. I think recognize and validate align well with this too. Acknowledging their questions and feelings and answering with a truthful reassurance. A suggestion here might be if you're not sure it's great, there's always helpers, right? There's always somebody helping, even in the worst situations. So we'll get into that more as we move forward. So we have 300 for, ooh, let me go back and fix that. Uh-oh, getting lost in my card deck. So we should have 300 for team one, 300 for team two. Let's see if team three is also going to go for that 300. Team three, go ahead and type in the chat where you would like to start. We have 300 family issues still, and then we have 100 and 200 for family issues, illness and death, and social issues. Team three says 300 family issues, being brave as well. Okay, so parents will often let you know when a separation or divorce is occurring. They might have a change in schedule or even legal issues that you need to know about. It's likely to be emotional or difficult for a parent to share this news. So being ready with a simple, empathetic response can help you acknowledge the sensitive topic and also provide a chance to determine what the parents expect from you. This holds true if you're a teacher hearing this, you're a family member, you are a colleague hearing this, right? So think in terms of hearing this news versus sharing this news. In 1 to 2 sentences, please do the following. Model empathy, acknowledge how sensitive this topic is, and clarify the next steps to support them with their student or child or selves. What would you say if you had heard someone's going through a separation or divorce and they might have a change in schedule or even legal issues that you need to know about? Mistakes happen, everyone does it. We just try to get along. Yeah, I hear empathy. Acknowledging the sensitivity of it. I hear that. Everybody does it. What are the next steps so that we would take to try to support? Be empathetic with the students. Absolutely. Patient with, like, extra patient with the child, giving them some extra space if you're in the classroom. Thank you, Mary, for that perspective. We can all work together to be there for your child. Let us know what you need. Thank you, Alicia. Any other suggestions? I know this is a hard one. It gets you thinking, right? I get that. It's uncomfortable. Like, oh, that sounds painful. How do I help? Be support to the child. Yeah. Can't imagine how hard that must be. I would email the school psychologist to check in. Yeah. Like maybe the child needs some mental health supports. That's a great perspective. Awesome. These are all great responses. I would definitely give it to you for thinking in so many different areas of life, right? I appreciate you telling me about this. It must be very hard for you and your family. What would you like me to say if a student speaks to me about it? Or I'm so sorry. Does your child know about it? How have they reacted? This is where we're going to hear some of those open-ended questions. Get some more details. The more details you have, the more you're able to support. As long as they're comfortable sharing, like you don't have to share anything you don't want to share, but typically more information will help, right? Especially questions shaped around, we're here to support the child. How do we support the child? That's hard news. Have you ever talked with your child about what's going on? I have some resources on the topic. Would you like some? This is where this book comes in as a great resource. If I had one in my hand instead of in postage to be sent to you guys, I would show you. They have those additional resource pages on how to talk to your child about it at home. Maybe some other websites that you can check out for additional resources and like things to look for and better support families, right? I hear another one from Rita, and another one from Diana as well. I'm sorry to hear you're going through this situation, and I will be more than happy to help with support. We can sit as a group and find a way to comfort everyone in a good way. That sounds difficult. I can help with asking for a support group. Let us know how you want us to support your child. I love the idea of like a little community of support or a task force to support when somebody's going through something heavy, particularly our children. So great suggestions, you guys. All right, so 300 across the board for everybody. I'm gonna have to get books for everybody at this rate. Let me add that score in, which is no problem at all. Okay, going back to team one. We have on the board family issues, illness and death, and social issues and violence for 100 or 200. Somebody want to type in the chat and let us know where you would like to start, team one. Okay. Team one says family issues 200. Let's do it. Here's a tough conversation. Do we have enough money? Asks the child. Daddy and I will always be sure that we keep you and our family safe. We may need to make some small changes while I look for a new job. We don't have as much money as we did, but we will take good care of you. So based on your background knowledge, what family issue might this child be experiencing? Give you a clue, there's multiple right answers here. What family issue might this child be experiencing? Financial crisis? Yeah. Any other ideas of what they might be experiencing? Social, financial. What's like the cause of financial crisis? What might have happened to cause that? Not enough money for food, job loss. Yep. Someone losing their job, unemployment. So what I see, unemployment does fit in here. Homelessness is a category that this fits in. Yeah, transportation issues can be costly. Injury can cost money. These are all on point. Layoffs, low income in general. There's a plethora of reasons why someone might be in a financial crisis, right? It's easy to get stuck in that cycle. The goal here is to acknowledge that mom is sad about a job change and reassure the child that mom or dad expects to find a new job and be happier again soon. We don't want to put all that stress and burden on them. They see it, they feel it. So there's just a universal phrase that you can go to that reassures without promising. That is great. Or over promising, I should say. Okay, back to our board. Team 1. Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting to tap out. We're at 500. Nice work there. Team 2. We have illness, death, social issues, and violence for 100, 200, or family issues for 100. When I say overpromise, the intentional vagueness here. We don't want to say to a child, we might not have enough money right now, but in the future, I'll have enough money to buy you a pony or whatever you want, right? We don't have enough money right now, but soon mom will have a new job and there will be more, right? So knowing the limits there. Thank you. Okay, so our category is social issues and violence for 200. So whether families speak to you or not, when a conversation with a child comes up, always allow the child to blank the conversation. This means answering only what the child has blank without offering more information, or give only those details that are necessary to calm children or prepare them for future happenings. So let's take a peek at our first one. Whether families speak to you or not, when a conversation with a child comes up, always allow the child to blank the conversation. What do we want them to do? Lead. Excellent, Alicia. Okay. This means answering only what the children has blank asked, without offering more information or giving only those details. So you are right on point. Always allow the child to lead the conversation and answer only what the child has asked. Children need to be reassured that they are safe and reminded that it's okay to talk to them about anything that scares them. Nice work. So back to the board, we have team 1 and 2 with 500. Team 3, you have the choice of, we did family issues, we did social violence, so you have illness and death for 200, or you could do all 3 of those categories for 100. Where are we at? $200. Awesome. So we have a true or false here. The topics within this book are appropriate and strongly advised to bring to families or to share with the family what the child has said or asked and how you responded. So I'll read it one more time. The topics within this book are appropriate and strongly advised to bring to the families to share with that family what the child said or asked and how you responded. Is that true or false? It's okay to have conversations about these topics and share what the child said and what you said. True, true, and true, and true. I include this one because I think it can be so scary to maybe admit that your response in the moment wasn't the best, but that's how we repair and have those conversations, especially as teachers. We need to be leaders and models of that. We had this tricky conversation. Here's what I said. Is that okay? I'm sorry if not. What would you like me to say next time? Be bold, build that two-way communication and open that bridge. We want families first. In the future, if you're not sure what to say, that's a good opportunity to say, I'm not sure how to respond to that. I'll come back later and contact the parent first. Also, allow the child to lead that conversation. Try to keep it focused on how the child is feeling. Follow up with the family if needed to be able to answer that question appropriately. All right, so we're all at 500. Nice work. We have a few simple questions for you guys moving forward. Or maybe they're tricky. I could have been tricking you the whole time. We'll find out. So back to team 1. We have family issues, illness or death, or social issues. What category are you feeling for your last question? We've used all of our 300 questions, haven't we? Yes. We opened with preparing for conversations, so we're down to family issues, illness and death, or social issues. If you came a little late, that's fine. So we'll do illness and death for 100.
Yes.
True or false? While death is an abstract and difficult process, young children do, like adults, go through stages of grief. Is that true or false? We got true across the board. All right, team one, that is true. So whether families have spoken to you ahead of time or not, when a conversation with the child comes up, always allow the child to lead it. Check back with the parents after you and the child have spoken and ask them how they want the topic approached. That's what we want to learn today. All right, nice job, team one. So is everybody going to catch up? Let's see here. Back to team two, we now have family issues or social issues and violence for 100. Not social issues and violence, 100. True or false? Simply knowing about a mass shooting or a destructive hurricane, however far away, can be terrifying for a young child. It's true. Very nice work. It's true. I think it feels the same way for us as teachers. I think it feels the same way for all families, right? Sending your child to school is scary. Being somebody working at school is scary, knowing that these situations happen. So I wanted to make sure I set some time aside to talk about this. This topic comes typically from two types of situations. It's a crisis that a child has experienced or witnessed directly or is likely to experience. It's a crisis that a child has seen or heard about that's not likely or less likely to be experienced. Either way, in both experiences, the key points that you want to emphasize here to make our child feel safe, to help our child feel secure, there are many helpers involved in helping people and making things better in all these situations. When you turn on the news and you see these situations happening, point out the people that are helping. Ask your child to point out the people that are helping instead of focusing on all the horrible, dangerous, and really sad things that are happening and are there. Can you find somebody in that situation that's helping? I think if you stop and pause and look a little bit closer, you'll see a lot more of that than we usually realize. And adults will always work to keep children safe. That is across the board. Typically true, and we want them to believe that. We want them to know that. We also want to teach about stranger danger. Do not get me wrong at all there. But adults are working to keep children safe. That is our job to worry about that, and it is their job to trust that that's what we're doing. So that is one way to handle those conversations when we know that our kids are stressed and we're stressed as parents about these things too. Nice job, team two. Oh, let me go back. All right, so we're down to our final question here. It's going to be under family issues, I want to say, for 100. That's right. And if somebody stop me if I'm wrong. It should be our final question. Okay, so team three, we have, which one of these topics is a family issue? A, military deployment. B, fashion. C, developmental level. Or D, natural disasters. Which one is an example of a family issue? Could be all. Think about it as a little bit of a trick question. This is something that is only going to really affect families, not school, not necessarily them out in the community. A. Okay. Yeah. So military deployment is under the category of a family issue, as well as unemployment, substance abuse, separation, and incarceration. While the other situations can impact a family, these are things that are typically a family topic that the family is going to choose to broaden and bring up versus the other topics that might impact a lot of people in the community versus just one family. The goal is to acknowledge the students' feelings when we hear about a family issue, reassure them that it's acceptable to talk about this at school. It's okay to bring this up if it's bothering you, but families are going to decide ultimately how they're handled. And our job is to provide resources as we can. All right. So what I'm seeing across the board here is everybody's a winner, which means everybody that's in attendance tonight is going to earn a book. Give yourself a round of applause there. But we're not done yet. We still have a little bit of time. I know that these topics like bring up a lot of questions. They bring up a lot of things that you ponder. So as this is a community of practice, go ahead and take a moment to share those questions, or share a way you see yourself sharing this resource. We're gonna pause for a minute so we can maybe hear and support as a community. Some key points here when you're using this book as a tool, be it at school, be it at home, or at work. It's critical to maintain open two-way communication between families and schools to support our children and our students the best. It's essential to protect confidentiality when we're having these conversations of everybody in the group. Practice using each individual family's preferred mode of communication, and make sure that you're always in a private setting when you are having these conversations. It's between you and them and nobody else, unless other people have to get involved. Using this book as a guide, it is not an instructional manual. It has a variety of resources so that you're able to do that, and really talk about these things in a way that makes sense to you, and it takes practice. Using emotional vocabulary takes practice. Being bold and having these conversations takes practice, and you took the first step to be here, to be willing to do that, and it's going to be powerful and make a difference in your family and in your schools. If there is ever a suspicion or allegation of maltreatment, danger, abuse, or neglect, remember, schools are still mandatory reporters. We have to follow along those guidelines. So keeping those things in mind when we're having those conversations, those still count and hold true during these conversations. I will continue to hold space for questions if people have them, but I'm also going to open up our feedback form. It's just a few quick questions. I'd love to hear what you thought of this session, to know if we can hold it in the future. So go ahead and answer this if you have a moment, these few questions. You're welcome to come off if you have your own individual questions. Some other things that are coming up, just to let you know as we close out. We do have our final Calm and Kind family sessions coming up after spring break. That's final for this year. We'll still have them into next year. So if you want to learn how to handle emotions, regulate your own emotions to be able to provide a calm and effective support at home, this is your place to do that. There's 4 4-hour sessions offered in English and Spanish. And then we also have another upcoming at regular Face University one-time session. That'll be our La Raza report. So this is a research project that was done by the MLE department. It examines the experiences of Latino community in Denver public schools over several decades. And the report offers recommendations for improving experiences for Latino students, families, and employees. So you'll hear about the future of what's next with the La Raza report and how they're bringing it into schools. And you'll be able to ask questions to learn how to get involved if that's something that you're interested in. It was our MLE in partnership with Multicultural Leadership Center, LLC, just to clarify on that. We also have a lot of in-person programs coming. I wanted to elevate the amount of locations we'll be having these programs in person. And if you want to be connected with any of them, just send me an email and I can let you know those in-person training dates. If you want to connect with families in your community, this is an excellent way to do that. We have Abraham Lincoln Academy 360, Denver Rescue Mission, DSST Montview, Escalante Biggs, Garden Place Academy, Hamilton Middle School, Montclair Middle School, Marie L. Greenwood, McGlone Academy, Placebridge, SOAR Academy, Stephen Knight Center, and Summit Academy running in-person programs. So we're really growing, which is awesome. Lastly, if you are like so excited to read this book and you really want to check it out now, there is a virtual version. I'll leave this up on the screen as you go. So take a picture. You'll enter a password. But I will be mailing those out. You should receive it in the next 2 to 3 weeks, depending, because we have to order a few more. If I do mail yours out, you will get an email letting you know it's on the way, to be looking for it. And I thank you again. If you have any questions, feel free to hang back. If not, I hope you have a great Thursday night, and thanks for joining me.